If you're a junior college baseball player who wants to transfer and play at the Division I level, then stick around and watch this video because I'm going to explain exactly what coaches are looking for from an academic and athletic standpoint. Here we go. Division I coaches look to bring in a junior college baseball player because of one reason: track record. And when I say track record, that comes with experience, that comes with in-game production. And that's the biggest advantage that you as a junior college baseball player have over a high school player is as long as you've been playing a good amount, you have now a track record. And so you've lived away from home. You've been able to get good grades, hopefully away from home now, and been able to live on your own, and all these unanswered questions that coaches have about high school players, just like when you were in high school, that you should be able to answer now and have some sort of track record from a statistic standpoint. And I'd say that's the other thing I would say is now it doesn't matter. What doesn't matter as much now is the 60 time, the exit velo, because it's not about projection anymore. Once you're in college playing junior college baseball, it's not about projection, it's about production. And so just because you ran some 60 time or exit velo, it doesn't really matter as much. It doesn't matter as much because they're looking for you to come in right away and produce. And even I would even say take it a step further, even as a pitcher, miles per hour. I would say put that in there as well because that's great if you can throw 95 or whatever. But if you're walking the house, they're not going to be that interested in you. And that's something that, from a pitching standpoint, I'll have people reach out, I'll have parents reach out, I'll have players reach out, and they'll say like, "Hey, all they care about is velo. All D1 coaches care about is velo." And I'll say, "Well, what are the numbers?" And so send me the numbers, and the player will have a good ERA, but they have a terrible strikeout to walk ratio. I mean, they have way too many walks, and so that's something to keep in the back of your mind is just because you throw a certain amount of miles per hour or throw 95 or 92 or whatever it is, at some point you're still going to be able to throw strikes, and especially the junior college level. So they're looking at walks, they're looking at strikeouts. How many innings have you pitched? Similar to before, when I say track record, there needs to be a track record. There needs to be like, okay, they've had a good amount of innings that they've pitched so far, and they've shown that they've got a good amount of strikeouts, a low amount of walks. Look at strikeouts per inning. These are some of the things that they're going to be looking for from solely from a pitching standpoint. And of course, they may look at some mechanical stuff and things like that too. But by and large, these are the main things they're gonna stick out. As you notice, like I didn't put on here ERA. There's a reason why is there's so many different factors that can go into that. Whereas strikeouts, walks, you can't. It's hard to not score that the right way. Like you either struck them out or you walked them. Like there's no one way or the other. And if we look at the average Division I pitching velo chart, you can see right here. This is in 2024. The average velocity last season 89 miles an hour. Fastball at Division I level. Of course, that's just the average. So there's gonna be more that are gonna be much higher, and then there's gonna be some that are a little bit lower. But on average, it's 89 miles an hour last season. Now, from a hitting standpoint, it's going to be a little bit different. So the stats that coaches are going to be looking for, it's similar in the sense of as pitchers that they're looking at walks, because if you can't control the strike zone at the junior college level, you're not just going to magically control it at the Division I level. So they're looking at walks, they're looking at strikeouts, but they'll glimpse over batting average. Everyone thinks that batting average doesn't matter anymore. And what I would say is I've never seen a Hall of Fame hitter go into Cooperstown with a career 240 average. So, of course, batting average matters a little bit. Now, can it fluctuate depending what league you're playing in and things like that? Of course. But if you're hitting 220, you're not going to be going and playing Division I college baseball, is my point. And then lastly, they're going to be looking at extra base hits. Can you hit for power? And when I say hit for power, everyone always goes to home runs. But what I would say is if you hit a lot of doubles, that's extra base hits. So just go out there and just try to just spray the gaps with doubles, hit a lot of extra base hits. You're going to have a higher OPS and you're going to be more attractive to college coaches. If you're somebody who needs help and promoting yourself to college coaches, if you want somebody to pick up the phone and call some of these coaches on your behalf, I've done this for several years now. I've been doing it a long time. And I've had a ton of success, especially with players out of the transfer portal, junior college, and obviously high school too. And so if you're interested in possibly working with me and me helping you find a 4-year school, just head to patrickjonesbaseball.com/recruiting, sign up for a time to speak with me. You can also click the link below in the YouTube description, and that link will be there as well. If you have any questions, put them in the comments section, and looking forward to meeting with you. And then, as I said before, they're going to look at some other things from a hitting standpoint. They'll look at from a mechanical standpoint, just any red flags, just anything that may get them to say like, I don't know if this is going to work at our level or not. They're just looking to make sure that you have a good bat path, you have good movement, you take pitches and have good balance, things like that. It's nothing that I would say, they're not like dissecting every single movement of your swing, but they just want to make sure that you have a movement that is going to be able to translate to the Division 1 level and handle that type of pitching. The biggest differences between position players and who coaches recruit are going to be up the middle players and corner players. And the reason up the middle players are going to be so important and are going to have higher value is because a lot of times what ends up happening is if a coach brings in, let's just say a left fielder, if that left fielder comes in and doesn't hit that well, there's not a ton of value. He doesn't necessarily bring a ton of value because they can bring in a shortstop who maybe is hitting very well but defensively struggling. Well, that shortstop's going to have the athleticism to play left field, so they can just take him, put him in left field. Whereas a left fielder isn't going to be able to just make the transition from left field to shortstop or left field to center field a lot of times. And so it makes it so they have more versatility. They play a more premium position up the middle. And then if they don't end up not hitting or something happens, they still are going to be able to provide some type of value playing a premier position versus a corner player, which I was. If you're first base, especially if you're first base, left field, right field, if you have to hit, you have to hit, you have to put up numbers, serious numbers at the junior college level if you want to get an offer to play at the Division 1 level. Can't be having a ton of strikeouts and not a ton of walks. You got to be able to show you can hit for power too. This is one of the areas you do need to be able to show you need to hit for power here. Have a good high batting average as well. Like you really have to dominate, and hopefully I'm emphasizing that a good amount here. You have to dominate as a position player if you're a corner player and you want to transfer and play at the Division 1 level. I've helped several players transfer and play from junior college to the Division 1 level. And I can tell you, these are the things that they had to have, especially if they were a corner player, was they had to be able to hit and really, really mash. One other thing that coaches will look for at times is they'll look to recruit to their home field. And so when I say that is, it may be frustrating. You may see somebody that you feel like you're better than, but and they get an offer and you don't from some sort of school. But it's important to note that college coaches, like if they have a field that plays to a certain type of player, like let's just say this field, for example, obviously if you look at this field, he would say like left-handed hitters should be the priority just based on how the field is laid out. And so you may be a right-handed hitter who has better numbers than a left-handed hitter, and you see that they get an offer from this school. Well, just know that this is part of the reason why, because some coaches are going to recruit how their home field plays. Some home fields, the ball doesn't carry at all. So they're more prone to wanting speed players and players who can create runs on the bases and don't have a high strikeout to walk ratio, things like that. As we mentioned before, being able to control the strike zone extremely important, especially if you end up facing some of the best arms in the game. Need to be able to control the strike zone. And then now I'm going to talk briefly about just from an academic standpoint and make sure you understand everything that you need to be doing from an academic standpoint before you try to transfer, because I've seen this happen before where players are at junior college and they didn't pay attention to credits. They transferred too many times, and then it's very hard for them to transfer to a Division 1 school. So we're going to talk about The two main things that you need to know if you want to transfer from a junior college to Division One from an academic standpoint. So the first thing is called a 2 to 4 transfer, and that's going to be for players who start out at that 2-year school. So they go right from high school to a junior college and then want to transfer to a 4-year school. So you must complete at least one semester or quarter as a full-time student at that junior college. Summer school does not count. And then you complete an average of 12 transferable credit hours in each term you attended there full-time. So that's the 2 to 4 transfer. And then there's the 4 to 4 transfer, which is somebody who started out at a 4-year school. It didn't work out, which just happens quite frequently now. Transferred to a junior college, a 2-year, and now they want to transfer back to a Division One. So as I said, attended a 4-year, transfer a 2-year. Now I want to go back to the 4-year. You have to make sure 25% of your credit hours at the 2-year school are awarding toward your degree. Complete an average of 12 transferable credit hours for each term you attended full time, and then earn a GPA of 2.5 in those transferable credit hours. Hopefully we can pull that one off. And then making sure that before you transfer to your new Division One school, one full calendar year has elapsed since your last enrollment at that original 4-year school before you transfer to the junior college. A few more things to note is, of all the players in Division One college baseball, 21% of them have had junior college experience. So there's a lot of players out there playing Division One college baseball who have had junior college experience. I would say, especially if you're starting out at a junior college out of high school, expect to probably be there for 2 years. Don't expect to go in there and don't be wrong. It's awesome if you go in there right away and you put up good numbers and you're able to get an opportunity. But also at the same time, coaches, as I said, this is one of the values of junior college is they want a track record. And so if you can put up 2 years of numbers, you're going to be in a much better position and probably more highly sought after. And so you just don't want to go in there and put so much pressure on yourself that you have to make everything happen your first year. So most of the time, guys are going to end up staying until the end of their sophomore season. I get this question still because there was rumors about eligibility not counting in junior college baseball and this or that. Guys, as of March of 2025, there's still no ruling on that. So I nobody knows as of right now. As of right now, I would not put that into in your back pocket and assume that's going to be the case. And so, as I had mentioned, I believe earlier, if you have any eligibility questions about your own eligibility, transferable credit hours, all those things, check with your compliance officer at your current school. Check with your compliance officer at your current school, because that they're going to know better than anybody else. There's two ways that you can get recruited out of junior college baseball and go play at the Division One or Division Two or whatever level at 4-year school. Either a college coach finds you or someone reaches out to college coaches on your behalf. That's literally it. There's no other way. It's those two ways. And so if you're somebody who needs help in promoting yourself to college coaches, if you want somebody to pick up the phone and call some of these coaches on your behalf, I've done this for several years now. I've been doing it a long time, and I've had a ton of success, especially with players out of the transfer portal, junior college, and obviously high school too. And so if you're interested in possibly working with me and me helping you find a 4-year school, just head to patrickjonesbaseball.com/recruiting, sign up for a time to speak with me. You can also click the link below in the YouTube description, and that link will be there as well. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section, and looking forward to meeting with you.